Hey, this is the McGuire Review, and today we're going to be taking a look at Boss Monster's brand new expansion called Crash Landing. Now, I picked this one up at Gencon, and this one's a little bit different than what they've released in the past. What this actually does is it expands the game to 5 to 6 players, which is the first time they've released something that actually does that. The game also features a few different game mechanics. There's some new heroes, there's a new treasure type, and we'll get into that here in a second. To start this off, what I want to do is just quickly read you what they have here on the rulebook. And here's the rulebook here. It's going to come in the box, folded up like this. Just kind of unfolds, much kind of like your pamphlet style. Has a front and a back. So it's a very quick read. You can combine this right with your Boss Monster 2 or your Boss Monster 1 sets that you already have. And I'll read this really quickly just to cue up the feel of this expansion. An alien vessel has crashed into the land of Arcadia, bringing with it new bosses to vie for the souls of the land's heroes and bringing new heroes to the Boss Monster table. Crash Landing is a mini expansion for Boss Monster, the dungeon building card game. It introduces a new treasure type to the game and new heroes to quest for it, and allows you to increase the maximum number of players in the game from 4 to 5 or 6. So there is a new treasure type that's in the game. It's called the Alien Artifact. There is also a new effect in the game that is built into the rooms called the Uncover effect. And that's a very interesting mechanic because in prior versions of the game, once you build out your dungeon, you can always lay, advanced room types on top of normal room types. You can always lay, cards on top of other cards. And you can destroy those, and there's benefit in destroying those cards based on a spell or maybe another card that you might have deals some more damage to a hero or whatnot. But in this game, it actually pushes that mechanic a little further, and there's cards you can put down initially, and then when you lay other cards on them, the card on the bottom has an effect called Uncover. And basically, that's a trigger effect. So whenever that room is uncovered or a card on top is destroyed or taken off for one reason or the other, there's an effect that triggers that usually allows that room to do more damage, or it may even somehow affect your opponent. So it's a really interesting mechanic that they built into this one, and I really like that because it adds more strategy and variability to how you actually build your dungeon out. I really like that mechanic, and I'm glad they added it to this version. So there's a couple extra changes in this 5 to 6 player expansion. And the first has to deal with how you can actually win the game, or what mechanic within the game actually ends the gameplay. Now, in our standard version of Boss Monster 1 and 2, and with the expansions that have been released so far, a player would be out when they received 5 wounds. So after you took 5 wounds, you were dead, you were out of the game. In a 2-player game, obviously, the other player wins. Or you would win in those games if you obtained 10 souls. In this expansion, they removed the lose condition of receiving 5 wounds. Now, it's interesting how they did that. So the game will essentially be quote-unquote over when either the hero deck has been depleted, so that's both your epic and your regular heroes have been depleted, or a player reaches 10 soul stones. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The winner is actually the person that has the highest total of the difference of the soul stones and wounds. So let's play that out. Let's say that I received 10 soul stones. Okay, I'm the winner. I got 10 soul stones. But let's say I also took 6 wounds in the game. That means my victory point total is only 4. Now, my buddy may have not reached the 10 soul stones faster than I did, but let's say they have 6 soul stones, but they only took 1 wound. Well, their difference total is 5. And we would continue to go around the table like that until we determined who had the highest points with the difference of soul stones versus their wounds. And I absolutely love that in this game because it adds a whole nother layer of strategy around do you race to get the soul stones? If you start to take wounds, maybe you don't want to be the quickest to be able to get to that 10 soul stones. You want the game to last a little bit longer so you can somehow use the rooms or spells or cards that are available to you to somehow heal those wounds, because there are healing effects that are built into the cards and the spells that will allow you to heal. So you're going to want the game to last a little longer, and you may change your strategy and start to keep people from getting to that 10 soul stones, so fast. So I love that little extra add-in that they've done, and they've been great about doing that with their expansions and their base packs that they've been releasing. Every time they add a little bit more strategy and an extra little component to the game that makes it just so much richer. But still, even if you go all the way back to Boss Monster 1, the first game they ever came out with, take all the expansions away, take everything that they have released over the last few years that you may have added into your base packs, it's still a phenomenal base game. And I can't say, and I've said time and time again in the other reviews I've done on Boss Monster 1 and 2 and some of their expansions, this is by far my favorite card game that is out there. And I will have to call out and say, right before we go through what's involved or included in this new expansion, the pixel art in this game is fantastic. They really outdid themselves with this expansion specifically. It's always been good. I've always been a huge fan of this pixel style artwork that's in card games, but they really went above and beyond in the cards this time. I mean, the characters that they used, the nostalgia that's built into this, just the detail that's in the pixel art in these cards really is above and beyond, I think, what I've seen in other versions of this game. And again, they've always done a great job, but this one was just absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure once you guys pick this up, and I recommend that you do, you'll see that difference. They really got detailed with a lot of the pixel art, and it looks awesome, and it's nice and colorful. I really like the new alien-based theme. Just such a great job, guys, with this one. So let's get into the components. If we look here, we've got a few new spells, and I'm going to take a look at these spells here. Again, having some really cool artwork. I love this essence transfer, and I'll have pictures of this up close here at the end of the review. But it's got kind of like this oversized brain type looking monster sucking the essence out of a hero. Here's one that's called Finish Him. I mean, just really cool. Lots of different spells here. Some of them obviously doing very different than what we've seen in prior versions of the game. We have a multitude of new rooms in this expansion. I was impressed with the room deck in this one. They gave you quite a few new. If we take a look at these, and I'll hold a few of these up here so you can kind of see that artwork and the style on these. They all follow that alien theme. And again, I'll read just a couple of these so you get a feel for that uncover effect that we mentioned a little bit earlier. So when you uncover this room, draw a spell card, then destroy this room. So this is one where after it gets covered up and it gets uncovered, by taking another room off of the top of it, like this is a trap room, so let's say we had an advanced trap room laying on top and we decided to take that off, we would immediately obtain this ability to draw a spell card, but then we'd have to destroy this card. So some of them are auto destroys, some of them stick around, much like this one. And this is the Darkling Layer. This is another one of my favorites. When you uncover this room, deal 3 damage to a hero in your dungeon or at the entrance of your dungeon. So this one's a nice one because let's say you lure multiple heroes at once. You can choose to say, I'm going to deal the damage to the hero that's actually going through my dungeon, or I'm going to deal the damage to just a hero that's maybe out here in the beginning of the dungeon waiting to go through. So I really like that card. It's got kind of a dual usage, and you don't have to destroy it once you uncover it. And again, this uncover effect triggers every time the card is uncovered. So you could have a room on top of it, uncover it, it's triggered. Maybe later in the game, you put another advanced room on top of that card. You can then uncover it again and trigger that effect. You also see here that you've got quite a few new normal heroes as well as epic heroes. And again, I think they did a great job on both the normal and the epic. They didn't just add one or two kind of special heroes or something that you may have seen in another area, and they kind of replicated it here pixel style. They actually made some really cool heroes in this epic deck as well as the normal hero deck. And my favorite obviously being the Prince. So they did a great job with that one. I thought that was really cool. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, nice, the Prince. That's pretty cool. You also get 3 new bosses. And each of those following a very epic style, much like all the bosses in their game. So I really like the new bosses that you get here, and I liked seeing that you got at least 3 new. That was good to see that they added in at least 3 new flavors of the alien type boss that go in this expansion. Now there's one other change in this game that's a little bit different than the prior versions of this. And that has to do with luring heroes to the dungeon. So if we remember in Boss Monster 1 and Boss Monster 2, if let's say there's a couple heroes, let's just say there's 2 heroes in our town. And let's say we're tied on the treasure types. Well, in that situation, the heroes would stay in town if there was a tie. In this one, they're actually going to split. So one player will get a hero, another player will get a hero. Or again, if there's 4 or 5 people playing and there's 3 people tied, you're going to split up those heroes amongst the individuals that are tied for that treasure type. So that's just one more mechanic that they added in the 5 to 6 player game to make that version a little bit different in how you would split heroes amongst players in the fact of a tie. And I think it's a good mechanic, and I think it's a good rule change, especially for that many players at once in a game like this. So this has been Boss Monster Crash Landing. Brotherwise Games, once again, fantastic job. I can't say enough how great this game is. If you're a Boss Monster fan, pick this up. You won't be sorry. It's at a low price point. It is definitely worth adding to your Boss Monster collection, and you can add this in again to version 1 or version 2 of your Boss Monster game to enhance that play to 5 to 6 players and add all the new goodness that you see here from an alien perspective. So, great job, guys. Another epic win. So hit that like below. Click the subscribe to join. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you guys next time.